I want to talk about a couple of things today. I want to talk about the byproduct itself, and I want to talk about a plan for you. So, first of all, cycling today, just to prove a point that you can't do everything all the time or everything that you want to do all the time, I did not achieve what set out to achieve today. I was in for about an hour and a half, doing various things on the bike. Didn't achieve it, didn't achieve anywhere close, still enjoyed it, still had a good workout, but I did achieve heart rates that I wanted. So if you're tracking and logging everything that you need to and want to, you're always going to be able to find something positive out of your workout, as along with negative. So in my case today, my heart rate was exactly what I wanted it to be at various times, um, even though overall I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. Quickly moving on, and it was all tracked. It's all been diarised. It's in the bank. Um, Talking about this byproduct, for me personally, it's never been about aesthetics. You tend to find most people tend to be focused on a body type, whether it's women that want thinner thighs or the gap between the thighs, or a smaller waist or a smaller back or a small tummy. Um, that's never been my issue. My goal, number one, first and foremost, has always been health and longevity and a healthy life. Everything else after that, if you've got a reasonably nice physique, aesthetically speaking, you may even get things like abs or lose your love handles or whatever the case may be. Those are the byproduct of living an active, healthy life. To me, they're not the goal, they're simply a byproduct. Um, it all started for me when I was a youngster, teenager, 13, 14, looking at my dad's legs. He suffered terribly with varicose veins. And in all sorts of manners of different things, my dad was very unhealthy, vastly overweight, heavy smoker, eventually a very, very heavy drinker, not particularly good eater. So overall, quite an unhealthy guy. And he suffered with these terrible, terrible varicose veins. I've never seen varicose veins since my father that have been anywhere close to his. From his groin, his legs were riddled with them, big gnarly veins all the way down his legs. And when I was looking at his legs, I knew that the chance for me inheriting that would be quite high. So in my mind, I thought the more active I can become, this is how I started my journey on health and fitness, would be to become really active and keep my legs moving and exercising and pumping blood through the veins and keeping them healthy, so on and so forth. And to some extent, it's valid, although it's not entirely true. Um, and I did have varicose veins, and still do to some extent, but on a very small scale, nothing near or close to what my dad had. So everything I've done has obviously been good for me. Um, so that's the byproduct. What I want to turn to now is plan. It would be very, very easy for me, like most people that are in this line of work, to say, right, I'm going to write a plan for you. And it's going to be this exercise with this weight for this amount of reps and sets on a bike, on a cross trainer, in a swimming pool. And it'd be very easy for me to set a plan out for anybody. I've done it many, many times in the past, and no doubt I'll still do it in the future. But I think that's the worst possible thing you can do for people. And the same applies to personal trainers as well, because 9.9 times out of 10, they're putting a plan together, not for the individual, but for the way they train. And because they think it works for them, or it's because what they like or enjoy, they think it applies to everybody. My take on it is you should pick up ideas wherever you can. I still do the same thing. And make your own way. Like I said yesterday, starting off, if you're new to exercise, with 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then building it from there, till you get to a point over the weeks, months, and years where you're able to do half an hour or an hour or an hour and a half in zone 2, for example. And that's another thing. If you're confused about anything, Google, YouTube, whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find that information there yourself anyway. And I think that's a very positive thing when you're researching stuff like this, because it opens up quite a few avenues for you to look at. Because in my mind, there is no one way, there is no right way or wrong way. It's what's right or wrong for you. Because there's many things that I do that nobody else does. And I will bring this up at a later stage and show you those things. But it's great to research stuff. It's great to put a plan together for yourself and then see the end results of it and know that you've done that all yourself. Somebody standing next to you counting out your reps for an exercise that they've predetermined is going to be good for you, which 9 times out of 10 is not the case. I was watching a personal training session the other day where this personal trainer, clearly a bodybuilder on steroids, was showing this young girl, I guess, teenager, maybe early 20s, how to do a particular set of lat pull downs. So it was very, very specific, and it was targeting her lats and her back. But when I was overhearing what she was saying and why she was doing it and what she wanted to achieve from doing it, this was the very wrong thing, the very last thing that she should have been doing. It wasn't pertinent to what she wanted. Clearly, the guy hadn't listened to her. So, back to what would come. You need to plan for yourself and research for yourself. And you get so much, just like recording everything, when you plan your own program, when you start experimenting with exercises, experimenting with cardiovascular, and truly mixing it up, the amount of satisfaction you get is huge. It's amazing to me how many guys don't get this. They don't get it. They're wondering how many people I've trained with over the years who they'll work out with me. They'll see what I'm doing and they'll never apply it into their own workouts, or even when they're with me for that matter. They carry on doing what they've always done and achieve very little. And then they're wondering why a 67-year-old man can still outperform them cardiovascularly and weightlifting. So yeah, take time to mix it up. So, for example, I'll do 2 days of cardio, 1 day of weight, then 2 days of cardio, 1 day of weight, and I'll alternate that. Sometimes then I'll do 1 day of weight, 1 day of cardio, 1 day of cardio, 1 day of, and then on the odd occasion I'll do 3 days of cardio and 2 days of weight. It changes all the time, and it keeps your body guessing. Your body just doesn't know what to expect, so it's having to adapt and adjust and get stronger and get fitter because you're constantly challenging it, and it's brilliant. So that's my goal for you, is to mix it up. And like the bike today, so it was a very long endurance session today. When I'm next in the gym on a cardio day, so tomorrow I'm on weights, the following day I'm on cardio, tomorrow I'm on weights, and then the next day I'm back on cardio. I think I'm on the rowing machine off the top of my head. But whatever I do, whether it's an elliptical, a bike, or the rowing machine, my goal then is hard. So I did long, steady state zone 2 today. Now I want to work really hard. So I'll work somewhere between anaerobic threshold, oxygen transportation, and anaerobic. Now you can look up any of those things. It's easy to do. And they sound technical, they're not really. It's very, very simple. As I said the other day, when you're working out in zone 2, you scale of 1 to 10, you're working out between a 6 and an 8, give or take, effort level wise. And each time you go anaerobic threshold, you're going up in intensity, but then the duration comes down. So the amount of time you spent. So let's say, for example, you do 3 times 6 minutes at a higher intensity. Let's say it's on a 7. Then you'll go, we're talking about anaerobic threshold, then you go into oxygen transportation for another session. So you're going to go harder again, but then you can cut back on the time. So you'll do 4 times 3 minutes at a higher intensity. Let's say it's a level 8. And of course, anaerobic is your hardest ever, where you're working out, you're giving it all. So you're not going to be working out much more than anything from 20 seconds through to a minute. I've worked out sometimes 10 seconds anaerobic, when you're absolutely flat out. You can't hold that very long at all, but you can do multiple sets of it. So these are all things that you can look at for your cardio. And the same thought process applies to your weights. Exactly the same. I've said the same philosophy to anybody that I've ever trained in sports. You can either work hard or you can work long. You can't do both. And as a general rule, that's pretty much true. So I've covered the byproduct. I've covered another wee bit of training. And bit by bit, we're going to get to where we're going. At some stage down the line, I'll show you some videos in the gym on the cardio, on the weights, and give you some ideas there as well. But at this stage, the important thing is to do what you're doing, whatever that may be, and track it. Because as soon as you start tracking, you're going to start improving. Because you're going to go back to that gym and you're going to say, hang on a second, what did I do last week or 2 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago? Let me see if I can just take a couple of seconds off that, or put a couple of kilograms on that, or whatever the case may be. Some years ago, I had a hip replacement, and I was back in the gym. He said, "You'll be off for about 6 weeks. You can't go back to work for 6 weeks, and you won't be able to do this, and you won't." I was back in the gym in 2 days. Now, it's all relative. I couldn't do a whole lot, but what I could do, I did. I wanted to get back on. Now, even at this stage, my hip replacement, and scale 1 to 10, I'd say it was a 7 in terms of success. So it's not ideal, and it's not what I wanted it to be, but it is what it is, and I make do with it. And I can still, it doesn't hold me back with anything. I still do what I want to do, and I still do a lot of rehab to try and improve it and make it better than it has been, than it was. I don't want these reels to be hugely long. I want them to be sharp, punchy, to the point, and you can glean something each time. I might do a wee thing on weights tomorrow. I hope these things, particularly the diarising and tracking, are helping you and improving you. And if they do, give me a shout. I'd love to know. I've been doing this since I was 14, since the varicose veins, what would you call it? Thought-provoking thing that made me come to exercise and activity and trying to keep myself in check. I hope you have a great workout tonight, tomorrow, and I will update again soon.